Hey guys, welcome to the Rat Grind channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. We have a lot of things to cover today, so I want to be able to get you updated, up to speed on what happened in the crypto market, as well as my investment, my trading for today, Monday, May 21st. So let's get right to it. So first of all, before I get started on the topics that I'll be covering today, just a couple of friendly reminders. So if this is your first time joining me on this particular channel, please do subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you are informed every time I put out a new video. And also smash the like, guys. Please support this channel. Let me know if you love the video, if you are finding value in it. Please smash the likes. And I also look forward to receiving your comments, your feedback, topics that I'm covering and how you like the format. I'm delivering you the content. I'm trying to pack as much information every single day for you guys, so that you can be able to just watch the video and pretty much get the gist of what's happened in the market, as well as what happened in my daily rat grind, right? So today, it was a very busy day at work. So I was watching what was at I was watching what was happening in the markets on my breaks and stuff like that, and on my phone whenever I get alerts and whatnot. So let's get right to it, guys. So the first, I want to give you guys an update on my stock updates. I traded some natural gas ETF that I took a position on today to swing, and I'll get you guys an update on that because there was a larger than expected natural gas supply. That was the reason why I found value in that particular ETF. I'll get you guys a look on what happened there and what I did. So as far as the cryptos, it seems like it's a make or break point right now. The bulls aren't done, guys. BTC and Ethereum pulled back again, and majority of the cryptos are in a pullback. The good thing is they're not major pullbacks, but they are still pullbacks nonetheless, right? So let's get right to it, guys. So first, the first that I wanted to be able to share with you guys is actually, hold on. All right, so this is the right screen. So I wanted to be able to share with you guys, as you can see on the screen behind me, I'm casting my phone, and you could be able to see the ETF that I got in on today. So it's basically I traded DGAS, right? So because I saw some value in this particular ETF, I got it. It's a little bit down right now, as you can see. Over the after hour market, I lost about 0.36%, so about a little bit over a buck. This is the inverse natural gas ETF. So this is basically the bear ETF for natural gas. So if you look at on the right side of behind me, you'll see the my Thinkorswim platform. I'm looking at /NG, which is basically the symbol for the natural gas futures. And as you can see, it's been descending, guys. Like, it's overall, since we're looking at the 5-minute chart over this is the 5-day 5-minute chart. As you can see, it's been trajecting lower and lower, right? So towards towards last week, as you can see, it was at 2.87, and then it went down to 2.84, and then today 8.25, and then it closed today at about 2.818. So as you can see, it's been a descending trend. And with that, knowing that there's some news about this particular market, let me show you guys. Let me pull in. All right, so I was reading on NASDAQ today, this afternoon, that the natural gas prices headed higher on growing cool demand. The reason for that is, I was looking at this Seeking Alpha. The volatility of the natural gas is relatively small, and when that happens, it's usually a much bearish sign, right? Because there's just a massive amount of reserves, and the production is at a record level, right? There was another article on Seeking Alpha that I was looking at. This was, they're projecting that the first week of June to show lower than normal natural gas demand, right? Because there's just so much supply. As you know, economic supply and demand. When the supply is a lot, then of course that is due because of a lower demand, and then the prices will not be good, right? So it says here that they feel that the short term move is on the downside, right? So this is the same sentiment that I had, although this particular article was made in the afternoon. I sort of was watching what was happening in the charts, and that's why I came to that conclusion. Let's get back to our Thinkorswim platform so you guys can see. Let's look at our actual ETF. All right. So as you can see, we're looking at the 5-minute chart. Let's look at today. So it's trading. It was trading above. It was doing well. So if you got it on a swing trade on this, excuse me, or a day trade, you got in at the market open, you would have been able to gain some good increases there. Let me see if for some reason it doesn't. Never mind. Change that back to the arrow. All right. Since I don't use Thinkorswim that much, I always use TradingView, so I'm not very familiar on how to be able to measure percentages here. These are Fibonacci's, time level. Yeah, forget it. We'll just move on. So just looking at that, just just estimated. So there was about a dollar difference from opening to closing of this particular ETF, right? But it trended down today, and as you can see, there was a cross between the 20-day moving exponential line, and the simple SMA line, the 180D SMA line. And as you can see, it got rejected by the it pulled down, and it got rejected as it tried to climb up the moving average exponential, and then it bounced on the, this is after market, it bounced on the simple moving average. So I feel that there's some upward momentum going into tomorrow, so that's why I felt that this would be a good swing opportunity, because as you can see, if I hit this high even at the same time today, then I would be able to get some profits, because I bought it at about $25 a share, and I bought 12 shares of it. So we'll see how this plays out tomorrow. All right. So I'll keep you guys posted. If I made the right call on this particular one. Another reason I purchased this, I went ahead and did this, but because I was looking at the bull ETF of the same exact one. As you can see, it started, excuse me. As you can see, it was trending up, but then after markets, it had a strong, pullback. So I feel that this might be a sign of rejection, and it may gradually go up. And as you can see, it was at oversold levels. If you can see this chart, it was oversold. It was going towards the oversold levels as the market was closing. So I got into this position just about maybe 5 minutes before the market closed, so I was able to execute my trade. So we'll keep you guys updated on that and see how that transpired for me, and I will give you guys an update tomorrow. All right, so let's get into our crypto trading stuff. So as you can see, the market is all red again today. Unfortunately, that's it. We're in that market where we gain a little bit and then we lose a little bit. As you can see, the gains are less. I mean, the pullbacks are less than double digits, so this is quite good. There are a couple of no, actually they're gone now. There was a few that stayed in the green, like Stratus, Walton Coin, Skycoin. Oh, Factum was one, and there was another one earlier. I think it was Uspring. I can't seem to find it, but that was Ufring, I think. up firing. Sorry about that. It was all green when I was checking it earlier this evening. Yeah, so it gained about 9.18%. This particular cryptocurrency, and it's a very interesting project to be watching for. But overall, the big boys, the Bitcoins, the Ethereums, the Ripple, the Bitcoin Cash, EOS, all the way down to IOTA, the top 10 are all down. Majority of it averaging about 5% pullback. So that's still that is not what we want to see. We're back down to a 376 billion market cap, and today's 24-hour volume is at 16%, right? So let's look at the live coin watch. Like I said, I always like looking at this because I can be able to tell how far it is from the all-time highs. So as you can see, all-time highs, Bitcoin is at 58%, 55% for Ethereum. Ripple is at 82%. Bitcoin Cash, 73%. I have some news on Bitcoin Cash today that are it's quite bullish. So I want to be able to share that with you guys. But Cardano is, man, I have position on Cardano. It's a very, very promising project, and that's the thing with a lot of this market, is because a lot of it is very speculative. Since a lot of these projects, they're really they're really white paper based, right? So basically a lot of it is you're investing in it without really knowing the future of the company. For Bitcoin, you pretty much know. It's more of it. You know where it's at. You know what's capabilities, what's its pros, what its cons. So as well as Ethereum, right? And then Ripple, it's basically the bank's cryptocurrency that is trying to take over the whole market. But you pretty much know where those projects stand. But everything else, like EOS, Cardano, Stellar, Tron, IOTA, Neo, Monero is a privacy coin, so a few other blockchain projects, you don't really know where you're at because they're still developing the system. Excuse me, let me just get a sip of water. All right, so Bitcoin and Ethereum, the problem still stands that it's still not as scalable as we would like it to be. So we got to watch out and see once that transpires, once that happens, once the markets are able to adapt and the technology catches up, then we should be okay. But at least for those two particular cryptocurrencies, that's why those are the ones that I'm most bullish on, because of the fact that I know where they stand. I know who the founders are, except for Satoshi Nakamoto. I don't really know him, but I know where the project stands as far as Bitcoin is concerned. But as far as the rest of these, it's really hard to gauge, where they end up at the end of the day, once they are able to or not able to meet their roadmap and milestones and stuff like that. All right. So let's look at some chart, guys. So let's look at Bitcoin. As you can see, Bitcoin got rejected again. It bounced above it broke down the 15-day EMA line, which is not good for us. Although it's looking at this, I'm looking at the 4-hour chart. There's about an hour 39 minutes to go on this particular chart, and it's green right now. So we hope that it can push back and then pull back and then bounce off this 15-day EMA. But it seems like it's dropped quite a bit. I mean, not a lot, but it's still within the above 8,000. But if this doesn't hold, and if we continue this line right here, that's not going to be very good for us, because we can drop even lower. So we don't want that to happen. Let's just look at real quick the 1-day chart, see where we're at. So yeah, the 1-day chart, it ended in red, guys. So we'll have to keep watching out on this, what happens to it. But it seems like from a short-term perspective, Bitcoin is not looking good. But overall, as far as the overall correction that happened back in earlier this year, it looks like it still has some bullish momentums within the long term of this particular coin. So let's look at Ethereum, guys. Let's see that particular pair, where we're at on it. So Ethereum, also looking at the 1-day chart, after those 3 days that were green, like we said yesterday, we needed it for it to bounce above the 15-day EMA and then shoot back up, but that didn't quite happen. So it got rejected, and now we're again gonna test this 6,075, 6,077 level. It looks like it got bought up when it touched that particular line today. As you can see here, the tail or the wick is quite long, so it touched that line, about the 677 line, and then it got bought up by the market. So it looks like that's a really good sign. Hopefully that continues tomorrow. Let's look at the 4-hour chart. Yeah, so even the 4-hour chart, as you can see, there was a lot of red candles that happened. It tried to pull back here, and then it opened. It basically, this candle closed down here at the 687 level, and as soon as that candle opened, it got bought up again, and it's currently at $692. So that's really the trend that it's keeping, but it's broken down the 15-day EMA. So that's not what we want to see. We want it to climb back up here, as you can see, this blue line, bounce if need be, and then take off again. That's what we want to be able to see. So we'll see how that pans out tomorrow. I'll keep you guys updated, but go ahead and check these charts out. So let's get on the news, guys. So the first news that I want to be able to share with you guys is really, really good. I wish the United States takes this position. Poland lifts the taxes on cryptocurrency trading. That's really, really good. So the finance minister of Poland released a new statement about an update on the country's taxation law. So after they reviewed it, after they passed the law to basically tax everything, just like property, so every transaction is being taxed, there was a lot of people that were up in arms in Poland that were, protesting both online and offline about that. And they said, okay, well, you know what? Let's take a step back and let's analyze how we're supposed to do this correctly so it doesn't mess up, the market, right? Because they are still bullish on cryptocurrencies in general, so they don't want to screw it up. But sometimes fast regulations, just to be able to keep some of these institutions happy, sometimes it's not always the best thing when it comes to the overall regulations that you will be coming up with. Towards the last part of here, it said that they have a 1% tax rate for all civil law transaction, and it doesn't depend if it's profitable or not. So even if you're selling it at a loss, you're still going to be taxed 1%. So that's a hefty penalty. At least here in the US, you get taxed capital gains on your profit, at least your profit. But you can also take deductions, losses for that transaction. But here, regardless if you make money or not, you're going to get taxed. So that's not a good thing. So that's why they said, you know what, let's pull back. Let's analyze this. Let's look at it properly before we do anything else. Another news today, this is another quite bullish news. A bank in Argentina added Bitcoin as an option for their cross-border payments. This was Banco Más Ventas that was doing this, and they revealed today, Monday, that enabled customers to send cross-border payments using Bitcoin. As you can see here, they have a post. I'm not sure. This looked like this is on. This looks like it's on Facebook, but I don't quite. Oh yeah, it is on Facebook. Sorry, I see the link on the bottom. As you can see, they're using a company called BitX. So the BitX chief marketing officer Manuel Boudreau told CoinDesk that the startup believes this marks the first time that a domestic bank in Argentina has adopted, or maybe all over the world, has adopted Bitcoin for cross-border payments. The great thing about this is that a lot of these banks that are not in the U.S., not in the first world countries, um, stand to benefit from it because the cost and the timing of you using Bitcoin to transact and transfer value is significantly more beneficial than not. The upside is there because when you do transact Bitcoin, although it's not yet good for one-to-one retail transaction, but from an institutional transaction where transfers, going through the clearance house, Swift, banks and stuff like that takes days. Basically, within Bitcoin, it takes minutes. In 10 minutes, if you get part of the first mining pool, if not, at least you could be able to get that done within 20 minutes or so, right? And it goes even faster if you have the Lightning Network and it's SegWit and all that stuff. And of course, the fees are relatively small. Now, you might say, well, the volatility is a problem. But if you're transacting right then and there, as soon as you transact, that person sells it. So basically, there's not much loss in value there because basically you're just using it to be able to transfer the value. You're using Bitcoin to Bitcoin. You're not necessarily trading it up. So the volatility is not as much of a problem because you're not going to hold these Bitcoins for long periods of time, right? It's something that the banks use, transfer the value, and then collect their fiat currency to whatever fiat currency they're sending cross-border payments to. So the next piece of news was Korea is being taken over by blockchain apps. So decentralized apps are taking over South Korea. The first paragraph here says blockchain apps are an integral part of the sprawling tech landscape in South Korea. The technology behind Bitcoin itself is not just reserved for financial and banking institutions. There is a lot of possibility to it. So a couple of the coins here was Cacao and Naver, right? Cake revealed plans to launch a reverse ICO for its legacy cryptocurrency called Cacao. It's the largest messaging app operator in South Korea, and they want to develop a decentralized platform for one of their subsidiaries. And then another one, Line, which is a subsidiary of a Japanese-based company called Naver or Project, also plans to expand its reach by expanding on the blockchain technology. So it can maximize, or it can take advantages of all the opportunities that a blockchain does provide. So that's really, really good news. They're hoping that the startups also getting in on the blockchain fever. We hope that other countries can also be able to get in on this bullish sentiment, bullish use case for blockchain. And the gaming industry is massive in South Korea. Gaming there is crazy, guys. If you guys don't know, there's kids that die because they're so addicted to gaming. They don't eat, they don't sleep, they just game all day, all night, all weekend, all week, and they just drop dead because they're so crazy on gaming. So the gaming industry does not want to be left out in this whole blockchain space. So there's a company called Codebox that is also trying to see if they could be able to use the blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies to be able to exchange value, to allow their users to exchange value within the game projects that they have. So the last paragraph here that I want to be able to read to you guys is the article on Bitcoin is asked, will the blockchain fever spread from South Korea to other countries, right? So that is the hope that all of us in the blockchain space are looking forward to when that actually materializes, right? So the other bit of news that I want to be able to share with you guys was in Spain. So Spanish regulators are now open to approving funds investing directly into cryptocurrencies. So they're talking about basically three types of funds: the EICC, FICC, and SICC. So the EICC is the closed-end collective investment entities. The FICCs are closed-end investment funds, and the SICC are closed-end investment companies. Now, you may be wondering why the acronyms are a little bit backwards, but you have to realize that in Spain, this is in Spanish. So they're using the acronyms as if they were locally in Spain. So a lot of this is basically they're looking at being able to allow certain investment structures, certain investment companies and funds to be able to use the funds legally for investments in crypto space. So that's really, really good thing. I mean, it's like here allowing mutual funds and some of these types of financial instruments to be able to invest legally into cryptocurrency projects. So that's why I believe that that's some great news in Spain, and I hope that a lot more countries, with the with the news from Poland, with the news from Argentina, and also blockchain dApps, blowing up in South Korea. We're hoping that other countries like the United States also follow suit and take a more aggressive, bullish stance on cryptocurrencies, because it's here to stay, guys. It is here to stay. So another news that I wanted to share with you guys was Brian Kelly put out some information about his prediction on the value of Bitcoin Cash. We reported Bitcoin Cash, I believe, 2 to 3 videos ago, where when they did a upgrade to their system, when they went from 8 MB size blockchain to 32 MB, which was a 4x, right? And they also opened up some coding, operational coding sequences that would allow programmers that are working on the space, on the Bitcoin Cash platform, to be allowed to do more experimental things that Satoshi Nakamoto originally intended Bitcoin to have. And then the Bitcoin core team, after Satoshi Nakamoto, sort of closed those borders out. But Bitcoin Cash implemented those and they opened them back up. So he was saying that, Brian Kelly, he was saying that as the blockchains get more value, Bitcoin Cash will have a lot more uses, which will push the value of it to go up, right? So he said here, that's how blockchains gain value. You're going to be getting more use cases to the extent that usefulness translates into value. And that can be a positive for Bitcoin Cash, right? Because once people realize what it can be used for, the reliability of the network, the ease of usability, they will be more usage of this particular network, and so the network effect will grow and the value will grow with that. Like, think about it. If Amazon opened up with the best features for being able to allow us to purchase from them, the free shipping and stuff like that, and nobody took us up on that offer, took them off on that offer, then the value of that company would be relatively low, because no one cares. But when people start to care and they start using this, and people realize the real world applications of these projects, of these blockchain and cryptocurrencies, then it will give it more value, right? If you remember, there was a video that I showed you guys, I think towards the beginning of this channel, where there was a little sketch on a guy in the Stone Ages selling, rat skins and dodo birds and whatnot, and he was selling them, and you basically trade chickens for these particular animals, for these food. And somebody came in there and said gold, and then somebody came and said silver, and they didn't want to believe it because, hey, there's no usefulness. They don't see value in it at the time. And of course, we know that gold and silver are extremely valuable today. So that's really, really good news on the Bitcoin Cash platform. So if you're investing that, you're trading the Bitcoin Cash, you're holding it for the long term, expect some bullish news to hopefully get that back up into its regular price. I mean, that was trading when I got into cryptocurrencies. That was trading, I think 3,500 or 3,800 if I'm not mistaken. So it's lost a lot of its value right now. I think it's at 1,200 right now. So there's a lot of upward climb that it has to do, but it got there before. There's no reason why it wouldn't, unless of course it's a complete scam and it just goes away. But if you are a long-term holder, which a lot of people are, then there's definitely a lot of bullish things within the Bitcoin Cash to be excited about, right? The last bit of news that I want to be able to share with you guys was, it's quite sad. It's Ross Ulbricht. If you're not familiar with him, he's currently in prison for life because back in, I believe, 2013, 2011, there was what you call a Silk Road. So it basically was like a Craigslist, like a classified place, an online classified website where you could basically transact using Bitcoin, right? So he was arrested because they said that this was just an example that they tried to make out of him, which is relatively sad. So they convicted him of drug trafficking, money laundering, and computer hacking crimes related to Silk Road back in 2011. So in 2013 he was arrested, and in 2015 he was convicted of these particular crimes, and he was sentenced to life. So his lawyers and his family and himself have been fighting to try to appeal. So now the case with the Supreme Court here in the U.S. is trying to see if they can be able to get him a new trial, because the way the prosecution, the investigators handled the case, they were just very reckless. They just threw evidences out there that were a little bit questionable. And when the judge was sentencing him, the judge called in and brought in new evidence, new facts that were not part of the jury trial at all, to try to get him the maximum penalty, which is life in prison. I mean, think about it. This is a guy that set up a website. That's all he did. He set up a website. He wasn't really the one that is selling drugs. He wasn't the one selling, laundering money to criminal organizations and whatnot. Imagine if you put up a website imagine if he did this on Google's GeoCities. If you don't know Google GeoCities, it was a place back in the day where, oh sorry, was it Google? No, Yahoo GeoCities. It was a place where you could set up your own online personal website. Imagine if he somehow did that through that. What would happen? How would they react, right? So this is quite sad news for somebody that was, really just, he just set up a website. I mean, I'm sure he is guilty of something, but definitely life in prison for this is just insane. I mean, he's in he's in a maximum security prison, guys. Think about it. He's in there with terrorists, bombers and stuff like that. That's insane for somebody that just set up a website to be sent for life in prison, maybe 15 years in prison. Think about it. I was watching, when was this? I think a couple weekends ago, I was watching with my wife this particular movie. Oh, it was called Infiltrator, right? So there was this FBI or CIA guy who was played by Bryan Cranston. If you don't know him, he is from the guy from Breaking Bad, Heisenberg. So basically, he played a part as an infiltrator, and he infiltrated Pablo Escobar's, criminal organization, right? He was able to get some of the top bankers in the world, these drug lords and, the financiers and stuff like that. He was able to get them caught. And these people, mind you, they're transacting billions of dollars worth of cocaine from wherever the hell it comes from and bringing it to the US and infecting our young people. They got 15 years. 15 years in prison, and they were murdering people, perpetrating crimes that were just unfathomable. But this guy, you know, he set up a website so that you can transact business, and so happened that some people did it. Imagine the guy from Craigslist, because of prostitution that happens on, or if somebody actually or sells drugs through Craigslist, and the founder of it will go to jail for life. Think about that. Think about the repercussions of that, guys. So the last bit of news that I wanted to share with you guys is not actually news, but it's just something that I want you to be aware of, because a lot of us do trade Ethereum based tokens. And as I told you before, to be able to look at Bitcoin addresses, you go to blockchain.info, you type in your address, your Bitcoin address, and you can be able to see where the transactions are coming from and where transactions are going, because it's very transparent. Now from Ethereum tokens, we use Etherscan, right? Etherscan is a place that we go ahead and do that. And there was this news that I read up that they launched, because I saw Vitalik Buterin's tweet, and he said, wow, Etherscan has a lot of really cool new tools lately. Dex Tracker, that's a decentralized exchange tracker, decentralized exchange order books, gas tracker, and swarm search. So if you are a Ethereum trader, you can be able to see, if you go to etherscan.io under miscellaneous tool, they now have these particular things. So the good thing about the DEX, especially the DEX, decentralized exchanges, unlike centralized exchanges, you have to deposit your coin into that exchange. Like your Ethereum, you have to deposit it there for you to be able to transact. Now, decentralized uses a peer-to-peer network, so it has to be able to match up some of these. You're buying from person A and your person B. These need to be able to match through a particular system, and they would match these up peer-to-peer. And so you need to be able to track the legitimacy of the coins, legitimacy of these decentralized exchanges like Ether Delta, IDEX, and all these other ones. So now you'll be able to do that using Etherscan's tools. You could be able to see right here. See, like you could be able to see where it's coming from, what it's doing, and what exchange it's transacting on. And you could also see the order book, so you could be able to see if there's enough EOS, tokens out there, and you can be able to see the best prices out there for the different decentralized exchanges, like EOS, for example. If you want to see a decentralized exchange, IDEX.market is where you could be able to get the best price on that in particular. Let's just do one randomly with Ion. I'll see, this one is another Radar. It's a different decentralized exchange. Let's see, BAT. Okay, App Radar as well. Let's look at Digix DAO. This is a gold-backed, so this one is IDEX, right? So here you'll be able to see the application of these particular trackers that is very useful to us traders that use IDEX or any other decentralized exchanges, because more and more of these decentralized exchanges will then be listed. Right now there's currently 4 that they have these order book listings, but of course this is going to grow as the market matures and as Etherscan adds more synchronization with these other exchanges. All right, so that is pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for joining me today for this video. I hope you did find some value. Please, again, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know the next time that I release a new video. Also, please, smash the likes. If you found value in the content that I deliver, please smash the likes and comment below. Give me your feedback. Let me know what I need to improve and what you want to get out of this channel. If I'm not able to provide that to you, please let me know how I can do that. I'm definitely open to your suggestions so that I can be able to give you the maximum value. All right? Well, again, thank you so much for your time today. Until I see you on the next video, I wish you and your family a success-filled day. Thank you. Love you guys. Good night.